Patrick Renger, Enterprise Account Executive of Zendesk. Zendesk is a software development company based in San Francisco, California. And there he is. We already have 2 viewers.
Yeah.
Right. This
Thank
is
you.
your show. Enjoy it, Patrick.
Yes.
And we'll get you more people.
Yeah, please. All right, thanks for coming, Linda. It's just for you. So my name is Patrick, and I'm from Zendesk. And today I'm going to talk about economies driving a new era of customer relationships. And we want to explore the lifetime value of a customer, touch upon how customer service works at Zendesk. And at CeBIT, we have digital transformation everywhere, maybe besides the entrance tickets. You maybe have seen that. Might have been tricky for some. And we also want to talk about how this affects the customer service, right? So if some of you have questions in the end, I bet there is some time as well. So for those of you who do not know Zendesk, so that might be particularly you and the sir in the last row. Zendesk is a company which started in 2007. So those are the 3 founders that you see on the balcony in Copenhagen. And as a lot of things, also this idea started with a glass of wine on a obviously sunny afternoon in Copenhagen. And the beginning of Zendesk was run out of a loft in Copenhagen as well, like with all the stereotypes you have from startups with a kitchen door as a desk and stuff like that. So they saw an opportunity to turn an existing industry upside down, the industry of customer service. So this, of course, there were customer service solutions already there in those ages, but this is kind of how they looked like. Or maybe you remember software in 2007 was not so pretty. It was working, but it was not maybe designed to delight you as a user, as an agent. So this was the motivation for them to try something new. So having an existing industry and having an interest in existing use case, but they try to, see it through the agent's eyes. Yeah, so they were considering you're a customer support agent and you're dealing with this kind of software, and you're getting a lot of complaints from customers every day. So they're particularly not calling because they were happy. So usually they have a problem and they want to report it to you, or they have some issues that they tend to throw to your head. So you have a bad attitude sometimes from customers, and then you have to work with kind of shitty software giving you a really hard time. So those 3 guys, Morten, Alex, and Mikkel, they built something new out of that because they were working in the consulting agents and in the consulting agency who was dealing with customer service software. And this is how it looks today. This is Zendesk, our core product, and this is still based on the vision our founders had in 2007. So we call it beautifully simple, and of course it's totally different from what happened in those days. It's still serving our SMB, small, medium-sized businesses, but it also grew some reputation in large enterprises, like in Adobe, Groupon, Box, Uber, companies like that. This is now where we are based, so the big building on the left, furniture and carpets, it says on the top, but this is the business where, or this is the place where Zendesk is now located. It's downtown San Francisco. And there we have, again, our founders. And the 3 of them in the middle, they are still, again, on a balcony, this time without a glass of wine, but they don't look less happy. They just managed to get an IPO up and running, and they raised some money there, and this was in 2014, by the way. And now we are a publicly listed stock company in New York. Actually, our headquarters nowadays is in San Francisco. So we came from Copenhagen. We still have our roots there, but we have moved most of our people to San Francisco. Now we have 1,300 customers, not customers, 1,300 employees, and almost 70,000 customers. I already told you about Uber, Groupon, Box, Adobe, Dropbox, some of those. So Let me ask the question. So, yeah, what is happening at the moment, right? The business models are changing dramatically, and I've already heard before this talk there were also talks about, yeah, how is it changing from a transaction-based model? So you're not one-time selling a product, but rather you're subscribing for a service. So it's not so much about possessing a product or an object like a car or like a DVD, something like that. But you're rather interested in the service that it gives you, the benefit from the product. So you don't want to buy it and possess it, and you might have to repair it and stuff like that. So you tend to, drive towards a service-based, subscription-based module. There are some examples that I brought here. I mean, I guess all of you have still some DVDs and Blu-rays at home, but if you want to watch a TV nowadays, a movie nowadays or a series nowadays, you're not, or not most likely to buy the stuff, but you're just subscribing somewhere. Is it Netflix or some other on-demand video services? Or you don't tend to buy a lot of different summer houses, but you're just interested in the service. You want to spend some nice time, some leisure time in different places, so you might subscribe to Airbnb. Of course, you also have maybe some hard drives at home, but the options that Dropbox, Box.com delivers you are just much more convenient for you as a customer. And we see those trends. They are not only affecting new businesses, but also rather conservative businesses like the car industry, even car manufacturers like BMW with Drive Now or Daimler, Mercedes with Car2Go. They're also having those kind of subscription-based models next to their existing OEM activities. So there is change in many ways, and of course, this also affects the customer service in the subscription economy, or the expectations of the customers, what they have towards you as a provider of services. So if you picture yourself as a gardener, we can say that flowers could be your customers, and you're interested in those flowers blooming as much as possible. So we would take now this left example of a flower you put into a vase, and it's in the beginning you're just selling this product once, and eventually after a time the flower just dies out, and compared to the right module or the model where you have to water it and nurture it and put it maybe with fertilizer, each flower might have a different demand of water, so there might be some very tricky VIP flowers, and customers, those need a bit more customer service. So you want them to subscribe and stay with you as a company, although in the next phase, after maybe the trial phase or after the first year. So you have to take care much more about them. So this is definitely changing the way that your customers are perceiving you as a supplier of a service, than you're just being the one who's delivering the product on the beginning. So another thing, of course, is also that in terms of social networks, customers are much more informed over the internet. So this triggers also, we call it an amplified voice of the consumer. So the consumer is, first of all, he's very informed, so he knows what's going on in your field, in the field of business where you're active, and he also knows what he can expect. And he also tends to share his experiences with you. So he tends to share his experiences, either if they are good or if they are bad. But what we see is that customers usually tend to share much more their experiences when those experiences have been bad, and if they were disappointed with those experiences, instead of when they were happy. Because when they are happy with the experiences, they usually perceive it psychologically as if it's just what they wanted, but if they don't get what they want, then they are dissatisfied, and they're tending to share this with their social networks. So in former days, they were just sharing this unhappiness with their spouses, with their friends, so they just reach like 5 or 10 people, but nowadays they reach a lot more people, and eventually you end up as a provider of a service facing with some sort of a shitstorm if it really goes bad. So the customer has much more power, right? All right, so there's one example from British Airways, obviously not a Zendesk customer yet. So if you got, I don't know if you can read it out, but there's a customer who's really unsatisfied. He's writing, British Airways is the worst airline ever. Lost my luggage, can't even track it down. Absolutely pathetic. And British Airways is just answering, I guess, more than 24 hours later, and they just saying, sorry for the delay in responding. A Twitter feed is open 9 to 5, and please direct message your baggage ref and so on. So of course this customer is unhappy because he says, well, I text you via Twitter, and we know that 70% of customers who are texting you via Twitter or Facebook, so 70% expect a response within 15 minutes. So this is quite fast, but the more easy it gets for a customer to contact you via social networks, Twitter, SMS, or just giving you a quick call, the easier they think also it's for you to respond, and the more likely they are to expect really a response within a couple of minutes instead of hours or days. I mean, if you send an email, it's rather like a postcard. You just send it somewhere, and you know there's something going on, some technical stuff behind the email. Somebody's going to read it eventually in the next hours. But if it's a tweet or a WhatsApp message, you expect to have the response very fast. So another thing very interesting here is that you expect customer service, or the loyalty that derives from customer service might be very good or very high loyalty if you are able to provide a good experience for the customer. But what we found, or CeBIT actually found, it's a research institute, they found no matter how good or bad the customer experience, the customer service experience is, your customer is much more likely to perceive it as a bad thing. So it's maybe derives from the fact that the customer is already only contacting you when he has a problem, if he's unhappy, if he has some issue to report. So you need to keep in mind that customer service is not the thing in first place to pull new customers to you. Because you have a good customer service, it doesn't mean that new customers are coming. Usually new customers are coming towards you because they are looking forward for the service that you're providing because of the product that you have. But on the other side, what that slide says, it's the customer is therefore much more likely to leave you as a provider of a service because they are unhappy with your service, right? So customer service just needs to be good, but it's not the thing when new customers come to choose you as a vendor. All right, so we have this subscription module, the convenience that the customer expects. And we have this promoter or detractor economy. So this is certainly a new era of customer relationships that we are facing. So there was an example of what is not so nice. So now are 3 points that we see might help you to cope with this new development in the subscription economy. First of all, we see it's very interesting and important to design the word service and the experience of service into the customer experience, right? It's instead of just seeing customer service as a cost factor, it's really important to see it as part of your brand and part of the experience that the customer has. So what do we mean by designing service into an experience? Maybe one example shows, and I guess all of you know that, or I know it myself. You're calling somewhere, maybe your internet provider or maybe I don't know, Deutsche Bahn or something like that, and you're stuck somewhere in an IVR interface, right? So it's great if you can press number 1 if you want to talk to somebody from service, or number 2 if you have a question about new booking, stuff like that. And there are some smart ways to guide you through via IVR, but well, in that example, I don't know if it's a real one, to be honest, but if you're stuck 2 hours in a line, you might not be that happy, even how cool the experience is. So maybe a better way to see it, or to another example, if you press a button on an app and you expect something to happen, you want to have an FAQ section, or you want to just be able to chat with somebody or reach somebody, and it's not happening because you need to subscribe on another field, or enter your email address, or change your account name. If that's getting too tricky, you tend to just let it slip, and you're just unhappy as a customer. So what is important, and what we are doing in Zendesk, is we are embedding the customer service within the experience that the customer already has with a product. So this is an example from our customer Gree, a software gaming company. And what they are doing, they're embedding a help section, FAQ section, and also ability to chat and to write and submit a request directly out of the app. So the important thing is they are not forcing the customer to leave the app, to be outside of the app, of the experience, and to call somebody, or to send an email to some whatever Gree at service and so on. But they're just providing within the app the option to contact the customer service, and so the people can just go back after they have this experience with the customer service or the interaction, and just continue playing. So they don't even feel that they are moving out of the system. So what is important here is, of course, that you are able to offer all the channels that your customers want to possess and want to use. So it's not email or help center or a ticket form, but it's this mobile experience most of the time. So it's important that it's not a media breach in between. So it's one experience for your customers. All right. The second point was empowering your people. So what it means to us when we think back of rather generic customer experience, agents might have some patterns, some templates they were using in former days, and this made the customer feel like really being served with a robotic-like experience, right? So you were just one number out of many customers, and you were not treated as a human, but you were just a cost factor as a customer. And if you can overcome this as a support agent and a support organization, and really give your customer the feeling that he's one of a kind, he's special, and he has a special issue that you want to treat. Of course, this makes the customer much more comfortable and feel like a human. And this might also allow your support agents make some mistakes in writing emails, and I don't know, some small spelling stuff that is not going around. But it shows that there is also a human on the other side, and it's not a robot. So how we are doing this is also empowering our agents by just giving them a good experience in the workplace the agents are. And if the agent is in there and he needs more information from, for example, like it shows here, Jira, or any other solution that might deliver some information that might be relevant for the agent to solve a ticket, this we just embedded in the system, in the agent interface, so the agent can just serve the customer out of one place, out of one workspace, not to switch between applications. And this is, first of all, interesting for the agent. It's certainly more fun and more easy to use for the agent, but it's also the customer doesn't need to be transferred to any other departments that often. So one more thing, be effortless, not delightful. What do we mean by that? As a support agent or a support organization, you tend to overestimate the impact that delighting your customer might have on the loyalty of your customer, right? So you see there is a certain expectation of a customer, and you tend to sometimes, if you really want to go for it and really want to invest some money there, you tend to sometimes oversolve the issue, just to be really kind and really carry the things after your client. But the recent studies just found that it doesn't make a real big difference if you are just meeting your client's expectations, but that is the thing that the client is looking for. They're contacting you for a certain specific, very sharp issue, so they want this issue to be solved. They don't want you to, I don't know, overdo that. And what we see, it's just much more expensive to delight the customer, and in the end, it doesn't have any effect on the loyalty that your customer has for you. So what actually makes a customer service interaction good? There are four for issues, I think they are quite small, so I just read some of them out. The biggest, so 70% say the problem was resolved quickly. This is a major issue, so I just go there, I have an issue, I want to address that, and I want a fast response. And it doesn't need to be super cool and super delighting me, it just needs to be fast. So this comes back to the way of channels that you're actually covering as a support agent. So the person who helped me was nice. Of course, this also it's linked to the agent empowerment, right? So if the agent feels like a roboter, he will behave robotic. So if you empower the agent and say you're a human, there is somebody who is looking for customer service that comes from to serve. So there's somebody who has an issue, who has a problem. So just help that person, and even if it's not a standard way of dealing with this, but just is it a way you can help them as a person, as a human? So of course, try to be nice if that's possible. So on the next slide, it just shows, well, if there's anything you can take out of that, time issue is a big thing that the research found. So if you have to choose between which channels to support and what to do to really meet your customer expectations, always keep this in mind, that the time issue is the biggest thing, how you can make your customer happy. All right, so we have as a summary, actually, we just have 2 videos that I want to show you. So the first video is of a guy, Matthew, out of our Zendesk office. He's just showing a couple of phrases that everybody of us has heard, maybe, and those are phrases that maybe are not so delighting you as a customer.
Okay, would you complete a 5-minute survey about your experience?
All right. We might have a little technical issue there. Can you hear that? Okay, all right. We're still good in time, I think. Oh, yeah, okay. Great, thanks.
Minute survey about your experience today? Yeah, one more question. Have I exceeded your expectations today? Okay, can I put you on hold for just 1 sec? You know what, I'm gonna put you on hold for just 1 sec. Okay, can I put you on hold for just a sec? I'm gonna have you power down. Have you tried turning it off and then on again? Click File, and then New. Wait, your printer is on fire? Okay, what's the screen doing now? Okay, well, do you see the arrow on your screen? I know that you don't want to hear this. Do we integrate with a fax machine? No. Okay, can I get the last 4 of your social? Can I get your mother's maiden name? First pet. Preferred vacation spot. Okay, can I get your porn name? I'm just kidding. Don't give me your porn name. Seriously, don't give it to me. No, and I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. No, I would feel the exact same if I was in your shoes. We can make an exception this time. Yeah, I'm afraid there's really nothing I can do. Okay, let me see what I can do. Sure, let me check with my manager on that. I'm sorry, we got a new system in here and it's kind of running a little slow. Oh, what's the weather like in Boston? Let me just pull up your account here. Can I get your phone number so I can call you back if we get disconnected? Wait, your password is password. Let me read that back to you. Sorry, I can't get more specific than that. Ma'am, I don't make the rules. Okay, you have a nice day now. All right, don't hesitate to call again. Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Yep, and my name is Matthew. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you. All right, thanks very much. I love you. I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to someone else. Sorry.
Yeah, I think all of us have heard some of those phrases, and this is maybe an example of being treated by a guy who uses a lot of templates. All right, so there's another little overview, just giving you an example and a small impression about Zendesk and how we perceive business and the consumers, and those nice people there, speaking for itself.
Has your relationship seen any hard times?
Well, yeah. I think every business goes through hard times with their customers.
When we first met,
His customer service was just awful.
I didn't think I had the time or the resources for it.
I would call.
She would call.
I would email.
I was not very good at listening in those days. I was very overwhelmed.
Oh, so I started complaining. I told my bridge club, my sister Lorraine, and my 41,000 Twitter followers.
That hurt. Very public.
So, what happened?
Well, that's when I got Zendesk for my customer service.
That made it a real relationship.
Zendesk helped me become the business I always wanted to be.
I like it when he gives me the business. No, don't be old-fashioned. No, it didn't mean anything.
I told you plenty of times.
All right, that was Zendesk in a nutshell. So thank you for listening, taking the time, and taking the time. And if you want to know more about Zendesk or our business, we are there at room Leibniz right now. Or you're also very warm welcome for the main stage where our SVP of product will have a little presentation later on, I think 3:45. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.